I can hear her defrosting. It is fall, and our Lord and Saviour, our Queen and Saviour, is defrosting. But before we get to Christmas and Mariah Carey, we have autumn. I am in autumn mood. I'm wearing my flannel pyjamas, and I am wearing my knitted socks, and it is time for my autumn knitting plans. I'm so excited. I generally like all different seasons. I think all of them have their charm. I live in a country, Sweden, where we have 4 seasons, which I think is very nice. But now that the summer is coming to a close and we are in the middle of September, I can feel the autumn just around the corner, and I wanted to cast on my cozy knits, and I wanted to hang out in a cafe or under a blanket and just knit and just be super cozy with a hot cup of something. So I have a few things in mind for the autumn that I wanted to knit. Because I have so many plans and I know that I do not have enough time, I have categorized them in 3 levels of probability. So the most probable, medium probability, and what I like to call let a girl dream. Things that I will probably not knit, but that I would like to knit. I will be linking all of the patterns down below if there are any patterns, and some of these plans I have a pattern for, I have the yarn for, but some of them I just have the pattern or I just have the yarn. Some of them I have neither, I just have an idea and a dream. So I have my notes on my work computer here. I am on a work conference, and you can see the location is different because I'm in a hotel room. We got off early today and I thought I'm in a different city than I'm used to. I don't want to go spend any money. I want to film my knitting plans. So here we are. And that's why I'm using my work computer. So to start things off with the patterns that are most likely for me to knit, and the reason why they're most likely is because I already started them. So these are definite knits. First of all, I am working on a cascade top by Lene Rix, and I actually have it right here. This is a tank top with a beautiful cable detailing on the shoulder pieces. Hang on, I'm showing you the back side. So this is the cables on the shoulder straps and down onto the bust piece, and it is finished with an I-cord edging on both sides, so the armhole and the neckline. It's a v-neck, and I'm knitting this for my mother, and it has a 3x1 half twisted rib, so you can see the wide, I don't know if you can see, so the 3 part of the rib is a purl, and then I have 1 twisted knit stitch and then 3 purl stitches. I have just begun the back piece on the right side, so this is how far I've come on the back. I am increasing along the I-cord edge to eventually start the same on the left and then join in the back, knit the back and join the front and back in the round. I knit increases in the I-cord under the right arm as well. So this is waiting to get joined in the round. And since I'm on the conference, I think that I will be trying I will try to get these finished, so both back sides, until I join them together tonight, and then tomorrow during the lectures I will knit the back piece and maybe join in the round if it isn't too difficult. But I am rambling about this because I'm very excited. I think it's a very fun knit so far. I will be posting a knitting vlog for this project as soon as I'm finished and I have edited it. It is in the making, so stay tuned for that. That will be coming hopefully before the middle of October, because that's when my mother's birthday is and I'm knitting it for her birthday. So we'll see. It's a quite ambitious project because it does knit up on a single strand of Sandnes Garn Tynn Linne, and it's a 3mm needle, so it's a very small gauge and it's a small needle size. But I think I really like the effect of it. It might be, I'm a bit worried that the rib is too loose, because where I twist my stitches I get a bit of a gap between the twisted stitch and the purled stitch between, but I will see. I think it's going to be a good piece either way, and I mean, it will be a good piece either way. So that pattern is my first definite. It is, as I said, by Lene Rix. It's available through Ravelry in the sizes XXS through to 3XL. So that corresponds to 75 centimeter to 130 centimeter bust circumference. It is knitted with a bit of negative ease, so it does follow the shape of the body, and I am knitting it in a double XL for my mother's bust circumference to fit. I don't want it to be too tight a fit because she doesn't wear a lot of negative ease, so I'm aiming for a neutral ease, maybe a tiny bit of a negative ease. The second definite, because I've already started it, is the Royal Winter Socks by Toby Beck. This is a free pattern that is available on Ravelry, and it does call for a fingering weight sock yarn. I'm using a light fingering weight because I stumbled across the Aweta from Filcolana and I really liked it, because when we were in Norway in the summer I picked up a merino based sock yarn for my father, and I was curious to see if there are any other softer sock yarns than the ones that I'm used to, because I usually knit with like a Drops Fabel or a Regia, so it's just a normal wool and not an especially soft wool. So I picked up, I do not like the word picked up because I purchased it, I bought it, I exchanged money for this. I didn't just pick it up off the floor, and I don't want to encourage that sort of talk around consumption, because I am consuming and I should not make it sound like I'm not paying for stuff, because I am and I should be, because it's a resource. Anyway, I found the Aweta yarn in one of my local yarn stores in Stockholm, and I found it in a beautiful off-white colour and a Christmassy red. It's a happy red, not a Scorsese red. If you get that reference, let me know. But together they make a very beautiful Christmas colour way, and I have started it. I'm knitting it on my sock needles on a 2.5mm DPN set, and I am finished with the shaft and heel flap of one of the socks. I put it through the washing machine to see what that does with the yarn, because if it shrinks I need to size up to a 2.75mm needle, because it is just fitting over my heel. I don't want it to be too large because I don't want it to be bunching up around or falling down around the ankle. Usually the socks that I knit for myself they have a rib, so a 1x1 or 2x2 rib on the shaft, so it fits snugly around the foot or around the ankle. But this pattern, it is just a 2 centimeter rib on the very top, and then it's a colour work throughout the entire shaft. Because of that, I don't want it to bunch up or slide down. So the 2.5 is what I'm working with currently, but if that shrinks even a tiny bit, I need to size up because it won't fit me after a wash. And it is a very fun pattern. It's also free. It's amazing. It's beautiful. There is one error in the pattern. It tells you to use chart 2 for the heel flap, but you should use chart 3, I think, or if it's the other way around. And I didn't find that out before starting it, so I knit the entire heel flap and looked at the picture and I was like, this does not add up. But since it's a free pattern and it's also very beautiful, I can't expect an artist to give away their time and expertise for free and then complain about it, that the pattern isn't perfectly written. So it is definitely worth checking out so far. Noted that I've only knitted the shaft, but it's a beautiful pattern so far. It's only one size, but it's adjustable, of course, depending on your needle size. So if you want to size up, you can use a thicker yarn and a thicker needle to make the sock larger. I'm using the light fingering weight sock yarn and a 2.5mm needle. I think it's a 72 stitch cast on. So do with that information what you like. Onto the medium probability projects. These are the projects that I have the yarn or the pattern or a very clear idea for. So when we were in Norway over the summer, I didn't pick up, I bought 2 balls of the House of Yarn Fnugg, which is 100% alpaca in a sport weight. Is it? No, it's an Aran weight. The names of the weights, yarn weights, is just confusing to me. I haven't gotten that into my brain just yet. It's not something that I used before I started watching these knitting creators on YouTube, because I looked up the yarn and the recommended weight or length per weight, and then went from there. So the names, the Aran, the sport, the lace weight, it's just, could you not just have a number? Do we have to have, I mean, a sport weight? What does that mean? I mean, I would like my sport garments projects to be thin. I don't want them to be thicker. So, a light fingering weight. What is that even? I mean, I do get bulky and I do get lace weight. Those are very intuitive names. But Aran weight, sport weight, worsted weight. What is worsted weight? I have not done any research at all about these names, so there is probably a good explanation, but I do not know it and I am not interested enough to figure it out. So anyway, the yarn that I bought is a loud, happy yellow, 100% alpaca worsted weight. No, I got it wrong again. Aran weight. And it is a now discontinued yarn, as far as I can tell. So since I only got 2 balls of it, I have to be a bit creative, since I underestimated how thick the yarn was. I thought I would get more meterage per ball. I didn't really look into it because it was an impulse purchase, but my thought is that I want to knit myself a beanie with it. because winters in Sweden get cold, they get dark. We are headed into the darkness right now, which is cozy to begin with, but then around November, things get rough. And I would love to have an obnoxious, fuzzy yellow beanie. Because I can, because I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want. So the plan was to knit a beanie. There are some patterns that I found on Ravelry that could be enough, but that depends on gauge, and I haven't done a gauge swatch yet. I don't know how thick a needle I want to use, and I don't know if I would want to do a flipped brim, whatever you call it, or just a single layer of the beanie. So I will have to play around with that, but that is something that I want to do. And since it's such an absurd yarn, I don't want to keep the idea for too long, because then the newness and the excitement about the absurd yarn is going to wear off, I'm afraid. So I want to get around to it in the fall, in the autumn. So that is my first maybe probably project. My second maybe probably project is a quite diffuse thing. I have absolutely watched the crap out of Charlotte Stone from Stone Knits YouTube shorts. She is showing off her beautiful sock collection and her gorgeous patterns that are seasonal and adorable, and she is just so talented in the patterns that she comes out with. And I want to knit a pair of silly autumn socks. There are a few contenders for this. I saw that she recently came out with the apple slice sock, which is just a beautiful idea that I think could also work for the rest of the year. But I think that in her book Joyful Colourwork Socks, she has a few autumn specific patterns as well. I think there is one with a bat, or a bat pattern, a batten, and I think there is another one with pumpkins and another one with a tea kettle, and all of those are just freaking adorable. I think she has a line of cat socks as well, the herding cats. She has herding cows, herding hens, herding chickens, and no notes. Gorgeous idea, gorgeous work, and I want to make them. They are silly and cute, and I want to be a better colourwork knitter because I haven't done it a lot, and I love the effect, and I would love to be able to make silly socks. So I actually reserved the Joyful Colourwork socks on the library, but there are 2 people in line before me, so I think they're supposed to return it by the end of September. So depending on where I am with my other knitting projects, I might cast on one of those autumn sock patterns. Probably, if I'm wise, I should cast on a pattern that isn't too seasonal. So I mean, a bat is it's cute, but it could also be cute in the spring or winter or all year round. But for example, the pumpkins, they would be a bit too seasonal, I think. I think she also has a pair of spooky ghost socks, which could be a good idea for my scraps for the Royal Winter socks, where I have the white. Anyway, I'm excited to look through the book and see what she has come up with. I don't know if that made any difference at all in the lighting, but you can hear me at least, hopefully. that would suck if the microphone weren't working. Anyway, the yarn that I have in mind for the silly socks is probably the Aweta as well, because they have just a huge array of colours and my local yarn store has them. But I might also branch out to see how other soft sock yarns work out. So now that I put it through the washer, if the gauge is changed at all, I might look at something other, but if it doesn't, then I am happy to try some other colours in the Aweta. Then I also have plans for 2 other yarn purchases from the summer. So on the way to Norway, so actually in Sweden, we stopped by a yarn store in Strömstad and I found the Langyarn Ananas, so a pineapple and lyocell mix. And I found it in a beautiful green, my favourite colour, green shade, and I bought I think 5 balls of it to make a transitional t-shirt top with. Then in Sandnes we went to the Sandnes Garn outlet, factory outlet, and there I found the Tynn Per Gynt, and I got 5 balls of a very beautiful blue shade, which surprised me because I haven't bought anything blue. I haven't been attracted to any blue garments for well over a decade, but this particular colour I could just see myself wearing and I could see myself really loving, and it fitting in with my existing wardrobe. So would look great with a pair of blue jeans, would look great with my usual work trousers, either the light beige ones or the black ones, and it would look great with the pair of brown slacks that I'm also going to make at some point. I have the fabric for it and I've drafted a pattern, but I haven't sewn them yet. But I saw this beautiful blue and I was like, I want to make something with this, and I want it to be a layering piece, so probably a t-shirt. And so these 2 yarns I have a t-shirt quantity for, and I think I want a semi-fitted t-shirt with a round neck or a straight neck. So I did look at the Sabai top by Susanne Müller. So that is a pattern that doesn't have any sleeves and it has a straight over neckline, and it calls for a DK weight. Again, what the heck is a DK weight? Why is it a Danish weight? Does it stand for double knitting? Does it stand for Denmark? Does it stand for dubious knits? So many questions. Anyway, a DK weight yarn. So I would have to do some tricksing with the pineapple yarn, but I think it could be a good pattern. I still have obviously I still have it because I bought it, but I have the Feels Right Tee pattern by Lily Kate France. I did knit it over the summer, so this cotton t-shirt is actually what inspired me to knit the Feels Right Tee that I did knit, because it's in a similar colour. I uploaded a video about it. I wasn't 100% happy with the results, and Lily Kate France actually took her time to answer in a comment on that video, which I thought was very kind of her, about the feedback that I had. I was a bit salty about the pattern not being clear enough. I think there was some directions that were pointing in the wrong direction, so a measurement in the chart that wasn't corresponding to what was said in the text. And the modifications that I made was to not make the sleeve cap so fitted, and that didn't work out perfectly. So I have some thoughts about how to modify the sleeve to make it more what I wanted to. be. But that is an option. Because it's a good basic pattern, and I don't know that I need to buy another pattern for a t-shirt that is just a plain up and down t-shirt. I did look at some t-shirt patterns with different lace motifs around the collar or around the sleeves or the very hem, but I haven't really decided. There is one by Irene Lin, and I will see if I can find it, because I do have it in my favourites, I think. Okay, so it's the Lyrity by Irene Lin, and that is a pattern that has a beautiful lace cabling motif around the arm, the lower t-shirt sleeve around the arm and around the waist. It's a bit of a boxier fit, which I don't know that it's exactly what I want, so I might go for the more fitted t-shirts. So I actually might end up doing the Feels Right tee with modifications again to get it to be my perfect t-shirt pattern. So those two t-shirts are medium probability for me to knit. And then I have the last category, which is low probability that I actually get around to knitting, but let me live, let me dream. So for the last few years, honestly, years, I have realised that I do not have a lot of cardigans. I think I donated my last cardigan, the last cardigan now while I was moving, because it was a long, like half of my thigh length cardigan in a large cable motif, lace and cable motif. It was a beautiful clothing item, so I gave it away and I know that someone else is going to enjoy it, but the length is just very millennial coded, and it doesn't fit with the silhouette that I wear nowadays, because I like to wear clothing that is boxier on top and on the bottom and cinched in at the waist or accentuating the waist. So I can't have something that is too long on my upper body, because that will just take away the waist shape that I want to have. So to actually fill that hole in my wardrobe, I would like to knit myself a cabled cardigan. And if you've spent any time on Knitting YouTube, you know about Sari Nordlund and her book club cardigan. It is a beautiful piece of art. It's all over cables and moss stitch, and it has pockets. Need I say more? I can put my silly little phone and my key card for work, and I can even have a tiny snack in the pockets and just cozy around at work, at home. I could even have some dog treats and just be a dog whisperer in this book club cardigan. But I also know it's such a huge project. I mean, these cables for the Cascade tank top they are doing my head in, because I've knit cables twice in my life, probably. I think this is the second time. I know the theory, but my fingers don't know what to do and how to do cables yet. So this is such a huge project, and I'm convinced that it would be worth it. So if I run out of things to do in the autumn, this is something that I would love to do. But I also know that I have a full-time job and other stuff to do. So a cardigan like this is a very ungrateful project, because it has to be an at-home project. I can't take it on the subway, I can't take it to short meetings, I can't take it to knit at work between appointments, because I would have to pull out the pattern because I don't know that I would be able to figure out and memorize the cable pattern. Maybe it's very easy. I don't know. I haven't looked at the pattern. I haven't bought it. But I would have to pull out the pattern and get the huge project out with probably 2 balls because this is a sport weight. Is it a sport weight? No, it's not. It's a worsted weight, so it's a lace weight and a sport weight held together in her version. And maybe battle with 2 balls of yarn at once, and the ever-growing project and the pattern, so it's not something that I can just take with me on the go. So it would have to be worked on at home, and when I'm home I want to spend time with my partner, and when my partner isn't home then I'm not home a lot of the time, and whenever I'm at home alone it's just a very short amount of time. So I don't know when I would physically be able to find the time and the place to knit this beautiful cardigan, but it is on the wish list. The pattern, if you're not familiar, is available in 9 sizes. It's knitted with a positive ease, so the finished bust circumference ranges from 95 to 175 centimeters. I would like, because my bust circumference is 95 centimeters, so I would probably want it to hit just over 105 centimeters to be a bit oversized, or have a bit positive ease but not be ridiculously oversized. And I'm afraid that if I make it too oversized that it would fit my partner, I would never see it again because it would be a work of art and he would steal it. And that's not something that I can live with. Probably. So the book club cardigan is a utilitarian and beautiful project. The other dream, Let a Girl Dream project is the Lime Skirt by Le Paul. It is a net knit skirt, which is silly. It's a bit absurd. Why would I make it for fall? Why would I make it for autumn? I can't wear it as is. I would have to wear something underneath it, but I have a solution for it. Either I could sew a simple tube skirt to be like a mini skirt under a midi knit skirt in just a basic blank colour, or I could knit a ribbed mini skirt to go underneath it. So those are 2 options as if I'm going to knit this, but the skirt has had my attention for the last 9 months or so, and I think I would really like to have a knitted skirt. I even have a yarn that I think could be good for this, because I have too much of the Go Handmade Tencel Bamboo, and it has this silky tencel feeling. It's also quite splitty, so I think that might not be ideal, but I think it would look beautiful. I have it in a dark grey colour, and I have to do something with it because it's going to languish in my stash, as they say, in my hoard of yarn if I don't do anything with it. So the lime skirt from Le Paul, it is measured not around the bust because it's a skirt, so it's measured around the waist, and it's ranging from 58 to 111 centimeters waist circumference, and you insert an elastic in the waistband to cinch it in, and it is sort of a column knit, so it's not shaped, as far as I can tell, a lot. And I would probably want it to be around mid-calf length, so it's work appropriate but also not dowdy, because I would love to have an all knit outfit. I mean, I wear knitted tops and sweaters a lot and I wear knitted socks a lot. But just imagine a cute knitted skirt with a knitted sweater and knitted socks and the cute beanie. I would be just fashion. I would be fashion. I would be very comfortable, that's for sure. Anyway, that is all for my autumn knitting plans, and it's a lot. I think that I will absolutely get around to finishing my 2 started projects. I will probably get around to one of the t-shirts and the pair of silly socks. I will at least do a gauge swatch for the beanie. So the mid probability projects I also think are doable, at least in part, and I will have to see what I do if the yarn isn't enough, if I haven't bought enough yarn to make the beanie, what I choose to do with that yarn, because it's too beautiful to not use. And then if I find myself having just eons of time, if I break both legs and I'm hospitalized for 3 weeks, then I will get around to knitting the book club cardigan and probably the line skirt as well. But that's not something that I can hope for or want to hope for. Let me know what your knitting plans for autumn are. Are you on YouTube? Have you made a video? Please comment, and I would love to check out your video about your autumn knitting plans. And up on the screen right now is one of the videos that the algorithm thinks that you would enjoy watching. If you want to, click the subscribe button or a like button, click something and I will get a tiny bit of dopamine and I will be more motivated to actually finish my projects. So help a girl out and click something. Thank you for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye.